Welcome to Your Cyber Path, the podcast that helps you get your dream cybersecurity job by sharing the secrets of experienced hiring managers and top cybersecurity professionals with you. Now, on to the show.
Let's continue to unpack this. How does RMF, work in the real world? And I think a big part of that is something you said earlier, which is, okay, well, we've got RMF, it's documented, we have to tailor it, but it's kind of a one size fits all thing. It doesn't really anticipate, every use case. But so how do you actually use it, right? How do you make the best use of it, given that it's such a slippery kind of thing?
So right now I'm in a situation that I am actually starting to help the acquisition community.
Mm-hmm.
So the acquisition community puts on government contracts the requirements for security, right?
Mm-hmm.
And typically in the past, there would be, you have to comply with DoD 85-1001. Well, okay, that's a very, very large assumption is made there that anyone even understands the instruction to begin with, and then how to interpret it and how to select their baseline and then tailor. So what we've been working on recently is developing acquisition language so that when something gets put on contracts, the contractor, the integrator, the developer, even a small business like me, I understand exactly what I'm selling to the government. Because something as simple as encryption type that I have to build into software can vastly change the cost, right? So if I have to bring in someone that understands a type 2 encryptor versus a 640 encryption mechanism, the cost of that type of engineer varies significantly, the amount of time it'll take to develop. So actually getting into the acquisition cycle is going to be key to actually being able to implement RMF correctly across the DoD.
Mm.
And right now there's a lot of, I don't want to say animosity, but there is quite a bit of frustration with the RMF process in the DoD. And I really think that's because the way that when it was rolled out, it was the way it was trained to all of the security managers. It was very much checklist mentality. Let's categorize the system. No real tailoring was implemented. It was a very rigid interpretation of the framework.
So we're kind of our own worst enemies, right? Going back to a previous part of our conversation where we were talking about how necessary it is to tailor it, but that the dominant culture is to not do that. The dominant culture is to be very rigid and to follow checklists. And what I'm hearing you say is, yeah, that's actually how they trained us to do it, which is not very enabling of the intent. And so I could see a lot of people would be frustrated by that for sure.